Hey everybody, so I'm back again with another recap of 90 Day Fiance. So I hope that everybody had an amazing Thanksgiving holiday. I hope you ate a lot of good food. I hope you spent a lot of time with family, or maybe you avoided family. But I am back again on this beautiful Saturday to give you your recap. Let's just jump right into it. It has been a long week. I have had an amazing time. I ate way too much. My nails are chipped. My hair needs to be washed. I'm tired, but I'm here to give you all the tea on last week's episode. If you're still watching this video, listening to me talk on and on about how much food I ate over Thanksgiving, then you should probably go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It's right there so that you can know when all my videos drop every single week. If you like anything I say during this video, go ahead and like or share with somebody who loves 90 Day Fiance just as much as we do over here in the Trashy community. Let's get into the recap. Okay, so this past week's episode had a lot going on, but also not a lot going on. It was like there were like big things, and then there was like just a bunch of like filler. So this probably won't be a very long recap because I'm just gonna get to like the things that I felt were important to make note of, and not just all those tiny details, which there was a lot that like kind of didn't matter. But I'm gonna go ahead and pick up where we left off last week with Eric and Leda. So this week Eric is, I don't know where, I think he's at work, and Leda wastes no time throwing her man under the bus. You know what? This really confused me, because my thing is, if you're with someone and you supposedly love them and you're gonna move halfway across the world to be with them, you, or at least and I feel like most women out there or people out there would want to give the best impression of their lover, significant other, fiance, man, whoever. Like, I've never seen someone so quickly throw their significant other under the bus like Leda did. And I think it's because she wants her family to come in and save the day and rescue her from this horrible life that she's going to be living in America. I think she's starting to see now that Eric is a regular, degular, schmegular dude living in Bugaboo, Wisconsin, and in a tiny apartment that he shares with his daughter, and they keep it a mess. And I think she's starting to freak out a little bit, and she really wants her parents to come in and save the day and like throw money at the problem. She brings her family, her whole family, mom, dad, to everybody, over to see the apartment with Eric not even there. Number one, Eric was at work, so he can't even be there to defend himself. Number two, which blew my mind when I saw it, the apartment was in the exact state it was when she first saw it. So I'm like, oh, okay, so you don't even care like that your family is gonna see. Like, I would never ever have brought my mom into an apartment looking like that. Like, yeah, this is how my man lives. I'm going to try to give my family the best impression of him as possible. Like, we can work on him being messy while we're together. Like, I can upgrade him. I just need a little time. But like, that first impression is so critical. And the fact that she brought them in there and she didn't even pick up a thing. And I know people are saying, oh, she didn't make the mess, she's the guest now. No. She's not a guest. She's coming to live there. This is her fiance, and this is her home now. And there is no way in hell that I would have brought my mom in there with the apartment looking like that. Why did no one clean it? They're sitting around, two grown folks waiting on Tasha to come clean that apartment. No, like, Eric, part of that's your mess. Later, this is your home now. Like, let's just take responsibility. We can deal with Tasha later. We can all sit down and have a come to Jesus meeting and discuss how the apartment needs to be cleaned, what kind of chores each person's going to do, all that later. Right now, there's a mess that needs to be clean. And that's all you should be worried about, honestly. I'm not thinking about who made the mess. I'm thinking about my parents are coming tomorrow. We need to get this cleaned up. Where's the bucket? Where's the gloves? Where's the Ajax? Where's the Comet? Where is the cleaning supplies? Give me the Windex. Give me, like, let's just clean it up. We'll fix the issues later. I'm not bringing my parents to see filth. And that's exactly what Leda did, which is weird to me. And it just shows to me how spoiled she is and how she is not even adult enough to just be like, you know what? I didn't make this mess, but I got to sleep here tonight. And I'm not sleeping here with this kitchen looking like that, with these clothes in the floor, with this. No. Like, I'm going to clean it up. We can talk to Tasha later. Right now, my parents are coming tomorrow. I have to sleep here. I'm cleaning it. And like, you're going to help me. Like, her and Eric should have just teamed up, cleaned it, and then they can discuss it later. Like, I don't understand. So her parents come in and they are shook. Her whole family is shook to the ground at the state of the apartment. Her dad's like, it doesn't look too good. I mean, that was the understatement of the century. It looks awful. And I think that her parents are really disappointed in how Eric is living over there. So, you know, they call Eric. Eric's on his way home, and Lada's like, well, they're all sitting around the little dining room table like, well, we're already here. We already showed the apartment. And Eric's like, oh, so you showed them the apartment without me even here. Like, y'all are supposed to be a team, Lada. Like, that's your man. Like, the way she threw him under that bus, I was sitting there like, girl, first of all, you snuck your family over there with him not there. Didn't even give him a chance to explain what's going on. They just come in and see filth. Why didn't you clean it, Lada? Why didn't you clean it, Eric? What is wrong with these two people? I told y'all Eric is strange. So Eric finally gets home from work, and they sit down and they have a little round table discussion about the living situation. And Daddy does exactly what Lada wanted him to do. That is the exact reason why she brought them in there to see that mess, because she wanted him to swoop in and save the day with money. So he offers to give them some money, I guess, to get a nicer apartment, a bigger place, or maybe hire a maid. I don't know, somebody to come in there and do something about her living situation, because he's like, my grandson's going to be living here. My daughter's living here. What the heck is going, like, I can't have them living like this. And Eric, you know, he does a stand-up thing. He's not going to accept money from this girl's dad, because that's just going to make him look even worse. If he had sat there and took that money, he would have looked like a bum, and he knows that. So he was like, no, I'm not going to take your money. Like, I'm going to sit here and take money from this girl's dad. It was really just a messy situation. I feel like Lada is a messy, that was just so messy to me. Like, you petty, like you real petty, Lada. Like, I would never have done that to my man. Even if I came in and his house was a mess and I know my family's coming to visit like the next day or something, like, I would have been like, babe, we got to clean this up. Like, we got to clean this up when my parents come. Like, we can fool with the details later about you living like this, but tonight we got to clean this up. Like, that, I don't understand why nobody cleaned. Nobody cleaned. They went to bed. It's a new day. Like, it's a whole different day. Eric went to work. She just brings her family over. Nobody thought to clean anything. It looked the exact same as it did when they got home the day before. I just don't understand them. I'm confused by that. I guess they were waiting on Tasha. I don't know. I guess Tasha came home maybe and went to, is it the same day? Maybe it was the same day. But Eric went to work. So, like, did they get there and then he went to work and then she brought her family over the same day? I don't know. Like, when did Tasha not come home? I don't know what the time period is, but I know I would clean that place before my parents got there. I would at least been shoving stuff into closets to hide it. Like, I would have tried to give them the best impression of him, because she seems like she wants to marry him. I'm like, girl, well, if you don't like how he lives, then leave. Like, don't leave him. Like, don't throw him under the bus like that. Like, help upgrade him, help fix him, or leave him. Like, I don't know. I don't know what Lada's doing. I don't understand this relationship. This is strange. It's weird. I don't get it. But, I mean, that was basically it for them. Let's move on to the next couple. Okay, so next is Jay and Ashley. So really didn't too much happen with them. I'm gonna just breeze through this little barbershop scene. So Jay is really trying to like spread his wings in Philadelphia. He just moved there, and so Ashley, I think Ashley suggested, or he's looking for like a barber. So he goes to the barbershop because, you know, that's where men bond. They go to talk. So he's thinking he can make some friends in this barbershop. So he goes there and he starts telling his story about him and Ashley and how they're getting married in 90 days. And these barbers cannot believe that this guy who's 20 years old is about to get married and, like, they think ruin his life. I was kind of going back and forth with this whole scene because I felt like they were giving him bad advice, but also good advice. Like, I was just on the fence the whole time because, like, yes, Jay is 20. He's really, really young. And I think getting married at 20 is like super early because I feel like you aren't really ready, but people do it. Like, people get married at 18 and just are just fine. I feel like if you find someone and you're willing to grow with that person and understand that they're going to change over the years, I don't think it's terrible to get married young. I don't like the advice. I guess the thing that I didn't like was the fact that they were basically telling him, don't get married so that you can continue to be a hoe and be wild in the streets. Like, I don't really necessarily agree with that. And I think that that kind of ideology is why a lot of men, especially black men, all those were black men, those were black men in the barbershop. Jay is black, Jamaican, but still black. And it's the reason why, and I'm not trying to get too philosophical or like serious here, but it's a lot of the reason why a lot of black men don't get married until they're like 45. It's because they want to play for 20 years. Like, listen, ain't nobody got time to be playing with you for no 20 years because you just have decided in your mind that you're not ready to settle down. And they literally hold that mindset for years. It's not just like, oh, I'll play from ages 18 to 23. And then it's like, okay, now I'm ready to look for my wife. They play for 20 years. Like, they don't want to. And so to me, it was like, it was instilling in him that mindset of like, don't get married, bro. It's so much out here. It's so many women, so much booty you can get. Like, really. Like, come on now. That's the reason why. Not like, dude, do you really know yourself? Do you really know? Like, if they had come from it from that angle, like, dude, get to know yourself, get to know what you want, what you like, you know, make sure you're mature enough. Can you provide for this woman? Like, if they were saying things like that, like, don't get married at 20 because dude, are you in your career? Do you know your purpose in life? Have you, whatever. Like, if it was like serious things like that, I would have been like, okay, yeah, I get that. Like, don't get married young if you don't have those things, you're not ready. But to me, it was just like, don't get married so you can continue to be a hoe. And it's like, that's their whole angle with Jay and Ashley for this whole season is like, we're going to continue to see like Jay's wheels spinning and him not being ready because he still wants to go out there and be a hoe. That's basically like their whole storyline. I can see it brewing. That was kind of the jumping off point with them like planting that seed in his mind. And now he's going to be thinking like, oh, maybe there are other women out here and maybe me getting married at 20 is a mistake. And that's basically going to be their whole angle for the rest of the season. I'm kind of over it because, like I said last week, I think Jay was cheating on Ashley the whole time he was in Jamaica. I don't believe for a second that he was faithful to her. And I don't believe for a second that he's going to magically start being faithful now that he's in America. I just don't think he's ready. I don't think he's mature enough. I think Ashley is 31. She needs a man who is ready for commitment. And Jay's not it. But that whole barbershop scene kind of turned me off. Like, I get what they were trying to do, but I didn't like the angle that they were coming at it from, like why they were telling him not to get married at 20. People do it and stay married, and people do it and get divorced. But people get married at 35 and get divorced. So, it's that whole like, dude, you have all these, wild oats to steal. So that makes me roll my eyes because I feel like men latch onto that idea and then want to sow wild oats till they're 43 and then want to bring their old bald head, hairline receding, ball sagging, wrinkly behind over to us who are like 25 and be like, I'm ready now. No, nobody wants you. Go sit down. That's probably just my black woman anger talking. But that was pretty much it for Jay and Ashley. So like I said, the storm is brewing for the whole cheating scandal. That's their whole angle this season. And like I said, I trashed them in the beginning, but at this point I'm like, they really are on my radar. They're whatever. Best of luck to yous. Let's move on to the next couple. Okay, so next is Steven and Olga. So this episode, Steven and Olga's son was born. And y'all, and I'm not squeamish. Not a squeamish person. I have watched plenty of surgeries. I love watching babies be born. Like, I think it's beautiful. But I just was not expecting for TLC to show us her entire C-section procedure. We literally saw the inside of Olga's whole stomach. Like, they were filming over the curtain. Like, I'm sitting here thinking, oh, they're probably going to film like Olga and Steven, like, like her head. Like, I've seen like a baby story where they didn't even show that much. Like, oh my gosh, like they showed her entire delivery. Like, they showed like them pulling the skin back and like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and get the baby, and like pulling, like we saw the baby come out. Like, I was just shook because I wasn't expecting to see all that. It wasn't because I was like, ew, gross. Like, that's not gross, but dang, that was like, we saw her baby be born. I was like, is this Dr. 90210 or is this TLC 90 Day Fiance? Like, what am I watching? It was intense. It was intense, but baby was here. He looks like a big boy, and I see why she had to have an emergency C-section because he was a hefty little baby, but he looked adorable. Steven was crying. Olga looked like she was kind of in shock, but it was really cute. Like, those first few moments after the baby was born, Steven was like crying and saying how happy he was. They said they were going to name him Richie after his dad. It was just really cute. It was a cute little birth scene. I was here for it. So then fast forward, you know, Olga is ready to go home. You know, the baby's in the little bassinet next to her bed, and Steven comes in and the camera zooms in, of course, because he walks over to the sink and he washes his hands. He didn't look like he gave him a good scrub. I'm not even sure that he used soap. So he just kind of rinsed them, wipes them off on his shirt, and then goes over to like hold the baby and touch the baby. And Olga's like, dude, like, you can't come over here touching the baby. Like, you're dirty. Like, you've been touching stuff, and then you come over and touch the baby. And he's like, it's my baby. I can touch my baby. Like, it's like at this point we start to see Steven shift from like doting father to like total a-hole, which I feel like it was a little uncalled for. He didn't have to jump at her so fast. It was weird. Like, it almost felt fake, and I don't like calling this show fake because I don't necessarily feel like everything is fake, but I'm like, are you really like this? Like, chill out. Like, I like chill guys. He was not chill at all. He was mad that she wanted him to wash his hands, which I was like, okay, yeah, I get it. Everybody, you know, when you go visit a baby, you got to use the hand sanitizer before you hold the baby. I get it. But at the same time, I'm like, girl, did you see that hospital you just gave birth in? And you worried about some hand washing? Like, I think he'll be okay. Like, people think that babies are like fragile. And I'm like, a little germs ain't gonna hurt a baby. You know, like, it's good for their immune system. Like, they need some antibodies. Like, we can't have the boy in the bubble with our baby. Like, you know, they're gonna get some germs on them. It's okay. You know, so I kind of saw both sides. I kind of saw her side. You know, you do need to wash your hands. The baby was just born. But at the same time, I'm like, but this hospital though. So, and he seems just fine. And Steven could have just obliged her and washed his hands, but he decided to make a big deal of it, which I didn't feel like was called for. And so, you know, then Olga has just had a C-section, so you cannot move, you cannot run, you can't do anything fast. You got to take your time. And she's like getting up and kind of holding the baby, putting the baby down, trying to get, and Steven's like, you're taking too long. Like, I'm ready to go. Like, they said you can go home. Like, let's go. And I'm like, where is the fire? Steven, like, where is the fire? Like, why was he in such a hurry? I guess he was just cringing in that hospital, because it was kind of cringy. But at the same time, it's like, this woman's stomach was just open. Like, give her some time. Let her move at whatever. This woman just gave birth to your baby via major surgery. She can take as long as she freaking wants to put her shoes on, her socks on, to leave there. If she wants to get another ham sandwich, let her do it. Okay, just step back. When a woman has sacrificed her body for 9 months and then gets cut open to deliver your son, you let her do whatever she wants and however long she wants to take to do it. Okay, I did not like how he was talking to her. I felt like it was real disrespectful. Y'all know I have been, you know, Steven's been my guy for the last 3 weeks. And at this point, he really rubbed me the wrong way, because I was like, this woman just carried your son for 9 months, delivered him via major surgery, and you were rushing her to leave. Leave that girl alone. Let her do whatever she wants to do. If she wants to stay another night, you better be like, well, I'll just sleep here on this extra bed. Like, let her do whatever she wants. So that was irritating and annoying. And they're already bickering and fighting because they don't know each other. That's basically what it boils down to. Steven and Olga do not really know each other. A month was not long enough. She probably hasn't even really seen him have an anger temper tantrum, because when they were dating, they were in puppy love, and that was it was the honeymoon phase for them. And so now it's like, it's getting real. Now you're seeing the real him. And I honestly don't think Olga likes what she sees. Steven is overwhelming her. She's probably got hormones already raging, and it's just too much. Don't add more pressure to a new mother's life. Fathers, Steven, like, she just had a baby. Her hormones are all out of whack. Her body is healing. Let her be. Chill. Everybody chill. You know, Steven really disappointed me this week, because I've been caping for him from the beginning, and I didn't like his attitude. I didn't like how he was treating her at all after the baby was born. I didn't like how he was rushing her. It rubbed me the wrong way. And it rubbed Olga the wrong way. And I honestly don't know if these two are going to make it. He's talking about marrying her. I'm like, y'all need to date each other first. Talking about getting married. They do not need to get married. No. I know he wants to whisk his baby over to America, but he should have thought about that when he was having unprotected sex with a girl from another country. I think the baby needs to stay with mama. I don't know if he needs to like go back and forth and visit. I don't know how he's going to afford it. I don't know. That's why you don't have unprotected sex with someone from another country when you don't have any coin to go visit them and your unborn child. That just makes me angry. So now he wants to snatch this baby up and like marry her and do all this stupid stuff that does not need to happen. They don't need to get married. They need to pump the brakes. I don't know how he's going to see his son, but honestly, you should have thought about that when you were having sex. I just don't feel any sympathy. I think he needs to leave the baby there with Olga and somehow get some coin together to go back and visit. But getting married is a no. That was it for Olga and Steven. Let's move on to the next couple. Okay, so next is Fernanda and Jonathan. So nothing really happened with them either, for real. I don't feel like. Yeah, so we pick up where we left off last week, where they're arguing in the street after they storm out of the club from the whole dancing scene. And, you know, they have a conversation about it at home. And Jonathan was basically saying that she can't be acting like that. Every time she thinks something is up, she can't just make a scene. She can't be fighting. And he was saying, you know, well, what if the police had arrested you? You know, that would have been it for your citizenship. And it really would have. And Fernanda's like, I don't care. Like, so be it. And Jonathan looked like he was really hurt that she was saying that. I think he was surprised that she so quickly was saying like, oh, well, I'll go back to Mexico. And I kind of see what she's saying, because she's basically like, if I'm going to come here, I moved my whole life, I'm like literally 19. I left my whole family, left my whole life to be with you. I have nobody here. Like, the least you can do is show me respect. And it seems like from the time she's gotten there, she has just been disrespected over and over again. Like the thong thing, now the dancer with the girls, like one thing after another. And she's like, I will make a scene if you disrespect me. And if you put me in a situation where I need to make a scene and I get arrested and have to go back home to Mexico, then so be it. Like, I can't fault her for that. I mean, should she be more mature in those situations? Probably. But at the same time, it's like, if you catch your man cheating, which he wasn't necessarily cheating, but let's just say for the sake of example, if you catch your man cheating, let's say there's two women and one woman decides to react by running off and crying and, you know, being sad and like going to her mom's house. And then the other woman decides to fight the man or, you know, go get something and hit him upside the head, or, you know what I mean? Who was wrong? Like, which one reacted correctly? And it's like, I mean, both. It just depends on how you choose to react in the moment. And I don't necessarily think it makes Fernanda immature, because there's plenty of women who are much older than her that would have reacted in the exact same way. Now, is that how I would have reacted? No. But that doesn't mean that how she reacted was wrong. And I actually find it funny, because in the first episode, Jonathan raved at how he loved how fiery Fernanda is, and she's a fiery Latina, and I like that. She doesn't just take no for an answer. She blow, and I'm like, okay, and now that this fire is burning you, now you don't like it so much. Like, I thought you liked that. I thought you liked that she was fiery. I thought you liked that she didn't let you act any kind of way. She doesn't let you get away with things. You said you liked that. That's what you told me. That's last I remember hearing. And now all of a sudden she's too much and she's being immature. It's like, which is it? Do you like her fieriness or do you not? Because you can't say you like it, and then when she does exactly what you said she liked, you call her immature and say, oh, you can't be acting like that. That's exactly how she's going to act if you continue to do things like that. And, you know, whether it's the scene was staged or not, I don't know. But I just didn't like how he was coming at her and acting as if she's not mature enough to, so she's just supposed to let you act any old kind of way. Like, I don't know. I mean, did she make a huge scene? Yes. Do I necessarily think there was anything wrong with it? No, it's just not how I would have reacted. We're two different people. Like, that doesn't make her wrong, and it doesn't make me wrong or make me right. It's just different. But we'll have to wait till next week to see what happens with them. Let's move on to the next couple. All right, so next is Colt and Larissa. So y'all know that I have been caping for Colt for a long time as well, that he is one of my favorites. But this week, I did not like anything he did. Not a single thing. The first, they went car shopping. So they went to go look at this car. The first car they pull up, or they look at, that the guy brings out, is like a GMC Terrain, like all black, beautiful on the inside, like nice, like SUV truck style. Like, it was a nice car. I thought it was a nice car. Larissa loved it. She thought it looked rich and all that. And they told the $23,000 for a 2017 GMC Terrain. Like, I was like, oh, sold. Like, when they said 23, I was like, that's so affordable. Like, that's going to be like $3 something a month, if that even. I was like, yes. And I know Colt has stellar A1 credit because he spends no money. So I know he has like an 850 credit score. Dude, I was like, yes, that is sold. Like, yes, it has air conditioning, everything fully loaded, good to go, because I cannot get with this riding around with no air. This man literally sat there and was like, we can't afford that. Like, I'm trying to plan a wedding. Like, we have to get flowers. Dude, what wedding are you planning? First of all, you and Debbie don't even have any family in Vegas. Vegas is the shotgun wedding capital of the United States. If y'all don't go down to the Little White Chapel and invite your cousin and his wife and Mother Debbie, and that's all you need. Like, what wedding is Colt planning? Like, what wedding what is this wedding? Like, if y'all don't get married in the backyard, like, you can literally spend $2,000 on a wedding coat and it'll be just fine. And I know you got $2,000 because you don't spend no money. You wouldn't even buy a new car. So I know you have a couple grand. Like, get her a decent dress. Get married at one of the places in Vegas, wherever, or at somebody's house. It doesn't matter. Like, who's coming to this wedding? Have a small ceremony and leave it at that. Like, that's it. Like, I don't know what wedding is he planning a $20,000 wedding? Okay, then, well, you can afford to get a $23,000 car. Like, I don't understand what was the problem. That car looked nice. It was a good price. That was the most reasonably priced SUV I've seen. I thought he should have gotten it, but he didn't. And Larissa was upset. They brought out this little Kia Soul or something, and he liked that because it was like $9,000 or something, and he wanted that one. And it was a small car. I agree with Larissa. Colt looked smashed up in it. He didn't look like he fit. The other car it would have worked. I mean, if Debbie wants to drive the little hoopty, then she can. But I mean, I didn't see a problem with the black SUV. It seemed like a perfect car for them. But he said no to everything. They left the car lot with nothing. I was like, what was the whole point of this trip? I didn't understand. So then the next part is, of course, he's going to propose to Larissa. Larissa is afraid of heights. So Colt decides to take her to the highest point in Las Vegas. She is riding up the elevator like, where are we going? No, I don't like, you can tell that she's not just talking, like, she literally doesn't like heights. Like, she has a genuine fear. She looked nervous. She was like, I'm just going to she closed her eyes riding up the elevator. Why? Like, that was such an a-hole move. Like, why would you take her to the highest point? He's like, oh, the view is amazing. Not to somebody who's afraid of heights. Like, a view is not beautiful to someone who's afraid of heights. It looks like I'm going to fall to my death. That's what the view looks like to them. Like, how are you so selfish that you can't even, like, take her somewhere that she would enjoy? She didn't even enjoy it. Like, she looked miserable because it was so high and she didn't want to be up there. Like, Colt, what are you doing, dude? Like, I'm trying. Like, I'm really trying. I'm holding on by a thin thread. But, like, this week, he just, like, did everything wrong. Oh my gosh. He's like very, like, he wants things to be his way. It's like his way or no way, which I actually kind of like I said, I like that about him, because I feel like a lot of these guys who are his type, like nerdy, can't get a woman, and then they get these foreign women, they let these foreign women kind of run them. And I did like that he, like, stood up for himself, but now he's, like, taking it to a point where it's like, he's not even being considerate now. Like, he's not even being considerate of Larissa's feelings. And that to me is a problem. I don't know. But anyway, he pulls the ring out of his pocket. He didn't even have it in a ring box. Just a ring, just in my pocket, dust the lint off. And hey, want to get married? Like, say something romantic about your love for her. How when you met her, it was love at first sight and I just couldn't wait to make you my wife. Something like that. But no, Colt pulls a naked loose ring out of his pocket and says, hey, want to get married. And I was just like, that was so anticlimactic. But Larissa, of course, she's a gold digger. So she was excited to see diamonds and perked right on up. The fear of the heights went away immediately when the diamond came out. And she said yes. And they, whatever. Good for them. Whatever. This was a whack episode for those two. God bless them. Let's move on to the last couple. Okay, so last is Kalani and Asuelu. Boy, boy. So Kalani and Asuelu are leaving their Airbnb in California to move to Utah. They're taking the long drive. I actually don't know how many hours. I'm assuming it's far. It's probably like an 8-hour drive, maybe longer. I honestly don't know. But they are on the road. They have packed up the car. Asuelu is in the back seat with Oliver. Kalani's driving. And so Oliver, I guess they've been driving for a little while, and Oliver probably got hungry or something, but he starts to get fussy. Asuelu is trying to, console him. He's like, talking to him. Kalani's driving, eating Cheetos, and looking in her rearview mirror and turning her head around, looking in the backseat, trying to figure out what's going on with her baby. She reaches over, grabs his favorite toy, tosses it to Asuelu, says, give him this. That should calm him down. It doesn't. And then Oliver just turns it up. All of a sudden, it was like nothing happened. I didn't see anything happen. It was just like Asuelu was trying to console him. He starts screaming, and Kalani freaks out and is like, oh my God, that's a hurt cry. What the F happened? What happened to him? Like, I don't know if she thought Asuelu did something to Oliver. It was almost as like when she was saying what happened, like that's a hurt cry, it was accusatory to me. Like it sounded as if she was accusing Asuelu of doing something that hurt Oliver, and that's why he was crying like that. And the cry did sound like he was in distress. I mean, it really did, but not like, I don't even know why. I don't know what happened, but he just like, Asuelu really didn't do anything. Maybe, I don't know if maybe the part of the buckle on the car seat maybe pinched him or something. I don't know, but I didn't visibly see Asuelu do anything to Oliver, but he just started crying, that wail, that high, it sounded crazy. Kalani starts freaking out. Asuelu's freaking out. So his instinct is to take the baby out of the car seat so he can like bounce him, console him or something. Soon as he takes the baby out, Kalani loses it, starts screaming at him. You can't take a baby out of the effing car seat. The scene that we've been seeing over and over again in the clips, it happens. And so finally she gets to a point where she can pull over. She gets the baby. Asuelu is shook because Kalani just screamed at him. And like, he looked like a little kid who just got scolded or a whooping from their mom. He looked so pitiful. And so, Kalani, calms Oliver down. They put him back in the car seat, and she's apologizing to him, they're driving again, and she's apologizing, and Asuelu just gives her the silent treatment. She's like, can you put your seatbelt on, please? Like, he puts his seatbelt on and doesn't say a word to her. Like, there was no more communication. TLC actually tweeted during the show and said that Kalani and Asuelu rode in silence the rest of the trip. Like, he didn't talk to her. And I felt that because that is exactly what I do when I'm disrespected in that way. Like if we're arguing about something and you take it too far, like we can go back and forth, but you take it too far to where you're like screaming at me and cussing me out, I shut down. And that's exactly what Asuelu did. Like he shut down. He same thing I do. I'm like, okay, well, if you're going to talk to me like that, you can talk to yourself because I'm not saying nothing else. Like and when I read that tweet that TLC put out, I was like, oh my God, that's me. And I just felt so bad for him. Here's my thing. I get it. I kind of see both sides. I get why Kalani kind of freaked out. It is her baby. The baby started screaming. She didn't know what happened. But it goes back to the root of her not trusting Asuelu with his son. That's really what it all boils down to. She does not trust that Asuelu knows enough to not hurt her baby or kill her. Like she literally thinks that if she leaves her baby with him, he could kill him. That something so terrible could happen to Oliver that he could die. And I'm not saying that couldn't happen because he said himself, the women raise the babies in Samoa. He doesn't know anything about raising a baby. But at the same time, I'm like, he has to learn. Like you have to let go a little bit. You have to. That's the only way he's going to learn. So I kind of get why she kind of freaked out when her baby started crying. But if it were me, I would have immediately pulled over. Like as soon as the baby started wailing like that, I would have been getting off the freeway. It wouldn't have been what happened? What? First of all, if she wants to go off on Asuelu for taking the baby out of the car seat and putting the baby's life in danger, she put the baby's life in just as much danger by distracted driving. She was eating a whole bag. I mean, her fingers were orange and dusty, honey, from that Cheeto dust. She was eating. She kept turning her head around, looking back there to see what they were doing. She was reaching over and passing stuff back. How is that not just as dangerous to your baby's life as taking him out of a car seat? Is you driving distracted? To me, she did just as bad as Asuelu did, but she wanted to freak out on him because he don't know nothing about raising no baby. Girl, you put your baby's life in danger too. You are flying. They were flying down that highway. And she's looking around, turning her head around, looking back, reaching over, eating. That's just as dangerous to me as what he did. And Asuelu's instinct was to console his baby. He wanted to hold him, to stop him from crying. I think that Kalani should have immediately, when the baby started screaming like that, she should have pulled over. Like, she kept driving, asking him what happened. He didn't know. Like, the baby just started screaming out of nowhere. Asuelu had no idea what happened. That's why he took him out of the car seat. You know, and I'm like, people do it. People take their baby out of the car seat in the car. Like, it happens. Like, I'm not saying that you ride down the street all the time with your baby out of the car seat, but in a moment like that where you just need to immediately get him out while somebody's pulling off the side of the road, I don't necessarily think it was that big of a deal. And I think that Kalani should have had the awareness to know if she was that worried about her baby, she should have been pulling over immediately to look at him instead of continually asking Asuelu, what happened? What happened? What happened? Asuelu didn't know. Like, that's why he's screaming. He took him out of the car seat because he didn't know what happened. You should have pulled over. Like, you're the American who knows everything, right? Okay, he don't know nothing. So why are you asking him what happened? You already know he don't know nothing. So don't ask him over and over again what happened. You pull over and look at your baby, ma'am, instead of screaming at him for taking the baby out of the car seat. I just don't. And she did apologize after. I give her that. Because sometimes you do lose it. And you have to just apologize. She did apologize, but it was like the damage was done. Asuelu was turned off. He couldn't believe that she screamed. He was like a little baby. Did y'all see him when he was like, you screamed at me. You shouted at me. He's so childlike. Oh my God, I do not see these people making it. They have a baby, and that's like the only thing holding them together. I think if the baby were not there, she would not be in love with Asuelu, and she would not have brought him here from Samoa. The baby is holding them together, and even that is shaky at this point. But that was it for this recap. That was it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for sticking it out to the end. I hope you guys had a great week. Thanks for waiting till Saturday to watch this. I really appreciate it. Once again, if you'd like to know whenever my videos drop every single week, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's right there. It only takes a half a second to click it. And if you liked anything I said in this video, go ahead and like or share with somebody that you know who loves 90 Day Fiance like we all do. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you again in the recap next week. Bye.